Good morning, everybody. I'm running a little bit late, so let me go post our link on the website quickly. And the website is denverguitarorchestra.com. Today is the 301st lesson since the pandemic began, back in March 20th last year. And yesterday was 300. We didn't make much of a big deal out of it. I don't know. I guess they just all start to feel like they're all awesome. Open a new window, update, and update. All right, so that should help everybody get in here. Let me make sure the link is working properly. Scroll down. Tuesday. Today we are playing, as always, the Segovia warm-up. Plus then we will play the last song in book 1, Three Blind Mice. Then book 2 we have a beautiful song, Simple Gifts, one of my faves. Book 3 we have a thumb, an alternating thumb picking activity in Streets of Laredo. And then a brand new song today, Contentment, for the classical arrangement. I initially had a great deal of resentment. I don't know, just wasn't into the song that we're working on today. But the more I worked on it yesterday, the more I thought, yeah, this is okay. There's 2 notes that I wish were different. But outside of that, I can live with it. So, and oddly, composers don't call me to ask if I like their song or not. So, whoops, I'm going to get it downloaded into my correct place. And it's a modern song, so we'll see. We don't do a ton of modern music on classical, but this one is. So let me put it in my gadget here, and then we'll get started. Contentment PDF, download. Okay. Oh, that was fast. Okay. And Contentment. Awesome. Okay, so we're ready to go. Let's see today. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to post this on Twitter. https:// Denver Orchestra.com. Click, upload, load, guitar, logo, tweet. All right, so we are now officially on Twitter. We are super famous. And Art liked my tweet. I have a Twitter acquaintance named Art Greenberg. He's a trombonist out of New York, and I don't talk to him very often anymore. Twitter changed to being a different thing than it used to be, and it's harder to hold conversations on there anymore. Let's see. Segovia Pattern. Where are my Segovia patterns? They're supposed to be right here. There they are. Segovia. I don't know how to alphabetize. There we go. Good morning, Vic. Sound is good. Cloudy up in Eugene. It's cloudy down here in Denver. We're supposedly going to get the sun breaking through around noon today. And I would say people in Colorado are looking forward to it. We've had about 48 hours with no sun, and people are already listing their houses. They're decided the end of the world is here. We are dedicated sun worshipers here in Colorado. Elizabeth, speaking of Coloradans, here's Elizabeth. Good morning, Elizabeth. Evelyn, she's sort of a sun worshiper. She's gadding about California. 56 degrees and sunny in Northern California. Sound is good. Evelyn is on a heck of a tour, and excited that she's getting some of the stuff handled that she said she was going to work on. So that's good. Let's play some guitar. Sorry for being a little bit late today. All right, here we go. Segovia Pattern, measures 2 and 3. Let's give it a try from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. play. Tough piece of music to deal with. I'm going to make a couple of notes to myself. There's you get these little moments of cognitive dissonance, and so then I go through and rewrite everything. 10, 12, and this is also index. Okay, and this is your pinky right here. All right, so I think I've already got that information on here, but I'm going to double check it. All right, there's your warm up for the day. That's not much of a warm up, but it's always good for us. They tell me. Let's see. Let's go to book 1, Three Blind Mice. I want to go kind of quickly so we can get to the classical song of the week. It's kind of it's an interesting one. Let's put it that way. Guitar resources, book 1. Okay, again, reminder with Three Blind Mice, this thing is really, really hard for a book 1 piece, and so if you're fighting it, it's perfectly normal. Okay, grab your alternate G chord, middle, ring, and pinky. 1, 2, 3, 4. Three blind mice, three blind mice. See how they run, see how they run. They all went after the farmer's wife. She cut off their tails with a carving knife. Have you ever seen such a sight in your life as three blind mice? Probably if you're strumming at that last measure, you probably 3 strums and then let that ride out is fine. Let's play the melody. This one is definitely, I would say, a positional melody playing. I don't think holding the chord does you a bit of good here. So you're thinking first position because you have some ones in there. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. One of the things you may be hearing, I have let my fingernail overgrow and it's not shaped very well, and so I'm keep getting it stuck on things. So I have tried to have a little bit of fingernails because I know when I get to school this fall, they're going to probably be talking about fingernails from time to time. I'm sort of against fingernails generally when playing, but I know that it's sort of the expectation in the classical community that you do have nails. So I'm trying to learn to accept the fact that that's going to be happening. Finally, let's do the tough axe. Very, very hard piece of music. Try to keep these 2 fingers from moving at all, and then we'll go through that and see what happens. Okay, from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you're finishing up book one, or if you're teaching book one, I would be thinking about, hey, if things are going pretty well for you or your student, do take a look at if you have the book itself. And if you don't have the book, send me an email. I'll send it to you. You would be looking at the next page over on page 18, where we talk about the chords that you're to have memorized by the time you're out of book one. So book one, we for sure need you to know A chord, D chord, and E chord. And if you use those three chords, getting people ready for book two, which we'll do on Friday, we'll talk about, well, maybe Thursday, we'll talk about, all right, so you have those three chords. On the following page in book one, page 19, I have the composer's blank, which is set up to play those in order. A, D, E, and A. Okay, and then the next song down is the D, G, A one. D, G, A, and D. And then I leave some blank, some space on page 19 for you to write your own chord arrangement. Also, at the end of book one, the song from level 3, All Through the Night, is posted in that book as a stretch piece to let people know, hey, you've got the skills to do this book 3 stuff, so book 2 should be a piece of cake, right? All right, so there's that. Let's go into book 2. Let's grab Simple Gifts. You guys all know this is one of my favorites. It's incredible to me. How come this isn't turning pages? That two chords create and a decent, high-quality melody. You can get this much music out of something. So let's run through. The chords are A and E. Let's make sure you're comfortable with getting from A. E, you drop this finger back, drop it a string and back a fret. Back up to E. Try when you're playing E to hit the top string. That helps root it. And when you're playing A, just hit the 5th string. And that will help root it. You're in 4/4, so you get a lot of fingering choices with your right hand. You can just do plain old strum. You can do down, up, down, up, down, up. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do a nice 8-beat arpeggio, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and all that. So let's give it a try. I'm going to sing. Close your ears. 1, 2, 3. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place that is right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we won't be ashamed. On the end of this song, there, as I'm going down here, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about harmonics. So if you get to measure 16, and you want to put an A harmonic, there's on your A string, right above fret 12, you barely touch the string with probably your middle finger, sometimes your ring finger, and just pluck it. You'll hear it. Here's it open. But when you get your harmonic above the 12th fret, the wire in front of the 12th fret, you can get a harmonic out of it. Okay, and all of the strings there, E, A, D, G, B, will give you harmonics. A word to the wise: if you're ever tuning somebody's guitar up and they have a really crummy tuner, a lot of times these tuners will react more favorably to harmonics. Because it sort of isolates the actual frequency you're string is ringing at, and it will send cleaner information into the tuner. If you have a good quality snark, that won't be a problem. But a lot of times when I'm tuning people's guitar up and they've already got their tuner stuck on the end, it's the ones with the green screens or the orange screens, and those are usually terrible. And they may that string, they just the tuners don't know what to do with that sound. But if I send in the harmonic version of that, it's usually much cleaner signal, and the tuner can read it a little more easily. All right, so when we get to the end with our melody playing, let's see if we can get that harmonic on the fifth string, 12th fret. That's where we're going to try to end it, okay, when we play the melody. Let's see what happens. From the top, playing the melody, we're definitely in first position on it throughout this entire song. I have obviously hit something here that doesn't let the page turn. Finger touch enabled, normal mode. That's so weird. All right, let's see. Here we go. From the top, melody only. 1, 2, 3. There's your harmonic. We've talked about in the past artificial harmonics. You also have at fret 14, if you do artificial harmonics, you have to hold the fret with this finger. So you go down to 14, and then you're going to pluck it with your thumb underneath there. Okay? And do it like this. Now obviously in order to get to fret 14, you have to shorten this up by 2 frets. So now if I hold this down, get your G string, and you're going to hold it on 2. So now you're holding an A. You slide down here to fret 14, barely touch it with your index finger, and then pluck it with your thumb. What's funny is then your dark, your low A will resonate sympathetically. 1, 2, 3, right here. All right. Okay, so that's the other A note that's down there. And I would practice both with the natural harmonic on 5 and then the artificial harmonic on 14. And you'll see professionals, they sit down for 6 months in their basement and learn how to do an entire song just with harmonics. It's an interesting activity. I'm not sure how musical it is. All right, so then let's go back and play the tough uke. By the way, the arpeggio picking that I did on this, turns out I hand wrote it out on this piece of paper. I think when I publish book 2 the second time, I'm going to take off the arpeggio lines, because when you're in book 2, really all I want you to do is exactly what's written down here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can do that without having it written out. Let's give it a try. Tough uke. Start with your A chord. 1, 2, 3. Ring forward, back. Ring forward, back. Ring up, index E chord. Index forward, and then back. goofed up. Sorry, I was like, what did I just play? From measure 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. A chord. Bring forward and back. E chord. Pinky on 2. Page 2. A chord. 2, 3, 4. A chord. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 2, 3. Starting to get too quickly enough. I notice that I'm having a tendency in 15 to play that quarter note, the quarter note on beat 3 too fast. Turning and turning, we is what I'm supposed to be playing, but I think I'm playing turning and turning, we, turning, we. I think I'm putting the quarter note on that last beat, and that's not what's written, so I apologize. I will try to do it better. Let's go back through. I played with my thumb the first time. I'm going to play with my claw this time. Let's see how that sounds. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3. Nice thing about playing with claw position is it's easy to add in decorative notes. You've probably heard measure 8, that last little bit, where I've been counting it when I'm using my thumb or playing just straight melody. I've been counting love and delight, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, true, 2, 3. Right, so I've been counting those, the eighth notes out. But if you're playing in claw position, you can use your fingers to do the counting. Love and delight. So just putting in some decorative notes on every eighth note, and that's when you get to real fingerstyle play. That's when you're trying to play something on every single eighth note, and that's when you start sounding like, oh, that guy, that person's pretty good, right? Book 3. Let's go grab Streets of Laredo. Now I wrote this for the very first guitar class I ever taught, and my idea with it was I want to have a bass line where my thumb can work on it. So if you'll take a look at the tough axe here, the melody notes are identical to the melody line. So the guitar line and the tough axe line are identical. The only thing that's different in the tough axe is you're getting some zeros on either the strings, either on your E string, your A string, or your D string. And those of you guys that are doing the classical program, you've already seen a ton of that where your thumb is hitting an open string on either E, D, or A, and it's a very effective technique. So let's run through, make sure we know how to play the song first, just so we know how it goes. Then we'll talk more specifically about what you need to do with your thumb. So it's a 2-beat count in, and A chord, E7, and D. You can see why it was on my very first guitar lesson. 1, 2. As I walk. Oh, let me. It's in 6. 1, 2. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, I walked out on Laredo one day. I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, dressed in white linen and cold as the in chords, guys, one of the this anytime you get a nice slow kind of cowboy type song and that's in 6/8, and a lot of them are for some reason. I think it's partly because in cowboy music that 1 2 1 2 da 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 da. I think that feels like you're riding a horse, right? Oomp, oomp, oomp. A little bit, and then 6/8 just makes it more interesting to play. But use your claw on this, and then you can hit the main beat in a 6/8 thing is bum, and then hit 2 decorative notes right after that. You don't change your chord; you just bump, index, middle, bonk, index, middle, bonk, index, middle. So do it one more time with me, and then obviously all you have to do then is hold that pattern throughout, just change the chord. 1, 2. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, I walked out on Laredo one day. I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, dressed in and cold as the clay. Is that E7 right there really fun? Cold as the clay, right? It's the only measure, well, except for the last measure, where you have a chord sneaking in there, and it really serves as that turnaround we like talking about in jazz, right? Wrapped in white linen and cold as the clay, right? It's just a mini turnaround. It's only one chord, but it really creates a lot of energy at the end of the verse to have you head back up to the top. Okay, now let's play the melody real quick. We're doing okay on time. As you're thinking about the melody, play it with your claw, and just don't do anything with your thumb quite yet. Just play the whole thing with these 3 fingers. 1, 2. So that's what we will be doing. And then now when you go into the tough axe, every other beat, or every third beat, on beats 1 and beats 2, okay, assuming you're counting in 2, or beat 1 and beat 4 if you're counting in 6, your thumb is going to pluck the open note, the open string of either A, E, or D, depending on which chord you're in. So grab your chord, and then let's get that right. Now that also will have the tendency to cause your fingers to sort of end up anchored on each string, which is fine. Your ring will tend to be running the first string, your middle finger will tend to run the second string, and your index will tend to run the third string. It's not a rule, it's just sort of a tendency. It's not necessarily good or bad, it's just probably what's going to happen. Okay, but as you get to the zeros, just pull in both thumb and ring at the same time, and it'll create this very cool it's not really a descending bass line, it's really just a walking bass line that's moving around based on what the chord is. 1, 2. Sorry. Okay, let's go back and do it again. Come on. Time. Doesn't it sound pretty? It sounds very cowboyish that way. Ready? Go. I blew every single time the first note in major 7. So but I think the fun part about it is it really works when you hit it right. And the hard part, I think, is just making sure you're on the right strings, as there's quite a bit of vertical motion going on against those. So super fun song. I think I'm not a huge cowboy music fan and not a huge Johnny Cash fan, but that song really sounds cool on guitar. Now, I think. All right, let's go grab our new tune for today, the Contentment Song. As I was mentioning yesterday or the day before, I didn't really like this song, but the more I work on it, the more I've come to accept it as being a pretty cool piece of music. It sounds like a television commercial to me on some level. There's one note in here that I just absolutely positively hate. I think it's a wrong note, to be perfectly honest. But I'm going to learn to accept that it is what it is and go from there. Let's grab Pinky on 4, obviously. And then you'll notice as you're looking through your bass line is exactly what we just learned. You've got open A's, open D's, and open E's, and whatever chord you happen to be on, that's the string you're going to hit as an open. Notice they're tied together. So what that's telling you is hit it and then just let it ring, right? And then stay focused in on playing the melody. And I think that it will come together pretty well. Just make sure you follow your 1, 2, 3, 4 system. Any ones that show up, I think, are there any ones? I don't think there are any ones. Oh, yeah, down on the first line there is. The ones will be index, twos will be middle, threes will be ring, fours will be your pinky. Give it a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's a half note. I keep messing that up. A measure 8. I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. Measure 8 is a half note. Okay, so it's bum ba da 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 bum bum bum. Right. So just be aware. You've got some half notes that sneak in at measure 8 and 7 and 8. Let's try just that part again. Pinky on 4. 1, 2, ready, play. 4 thumb, 4 oh 2 thumb, 3 oh 2 thumb, 2 3 oh thumb, 2 3 2 thumb, 2 3 2 thumb, 2 3 oh thumb, 2 2 oh thumb, oh 4 thumb, 4 oh 2 thumb, 3 oh 3 thumb, oh 2 2 1 thumb, 2 2 oh oh 2 thumb, 3 oh 2 thumb, 3 2 oh thumb, 1 1 sorry, 1, where am I? 1 oh 3 thumb, chord. Oh and 2. It's the only place in the whole song where the last chord you're going to hit two strings at once, just exactly what we just studied in Streets of Laredo. You're going to hit a 2 here and your thumb there, and it's going to be beautiful. All right. All right. Vic's down with the songs today. Me too. I love them. This song, I'm trying to. There's one note in here. I would pay him to go through and move this one note because I hate it so much. But let's try it one more time. Notice the chords here you're not really using, right? You're just playing the melody, and then your thumb is adding in a nice walking bass in here, and so the chords are providing really little purpose. However, you guys know what will happen as we head toward the end of the week. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we will be doing, those of you guys who are doing the lead sheet arrangements in ukulele, same thing applies here. Go through and say, all right, here's my chord, here's my melody note. Okay, how am I going to make that happen? And you can do it. Well, you can turn all classical music into a much better song, in my opinion, by putting in some depth as a soloist. Most classical guitar players would lose their mind if you told them to do that. But be adventurous. From the top, one more time, a couple more times. 1, 2, 3, 4. couple of things on here. If you want to do the exact fingering that is in the original, I can send you that information. I don't necessarily think it's necessary here. If I ever find a song where the fingering is really, really important, I'll put it on there for you. But more importantly, on this piece of music, you get the sense, right? It's a very peaceful song. I told you I think it would make a great television commercial for something like, I don't know. I don't know what it'd be good for advertising. I think I know what it'd be good for advertising, but something peaceful and soft, right? Maybe a sleep sedative thing or something. But more importantly than that, it tells you there's some certain things on here that I think are maybe they were kind of new to me and were worth maybe talking about. The song, the entire song, it says MP, mezzo piano. So don't play it loud, right? Play it contemplatively, a little bit on the quiet side. And then the first instruction in measure 1 says espressivo, right? Expressive. I don't know what that means, but I do know that I want to play that with a little more oomph than mezzo piano might suggest, right? So there's sort of competing ideas. Mezzo piano, play it soft, but play it lively. Bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da-bum, right? So I wouldn't be overly focused in on it being so contemplatively, even though it's called Contentment. He's got all these mixed messages here. The song's called Contentment. First note says mezzo piano, and you're like, that would make sense. And then espressivo. What are you talking about? The other thing, and I always think this stuff is open for discussion when composers, especially classically oriented composers, put sheet music together, they love using all these old-fashioned terms, and so there's this long history of composers using terms for different things at different time periods, and so sometimes you're like, I don't really know what the definition of what he wants here. I think you think about it, you make a decision, and you go with it. And then if somebody comes and says you're playing that wrong, which hopefully they never do, then you would consider their viewpoint on that. The harder one here, measure 7, it says in the original sheet music, it says RALL period, and what 40 different websites. I read what the opinions of what RALL really means, and I think the best thought I have here is it's sort of dying away. So relatando, you're going to slow it down, maybe make it a little bit quieter, and you notice that's where all of that half note challenge is sitting all in there. So you've got this section here where maybe the music sort of dies away just a little bit. Bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-da-bum. And so it's almost like it's its own ending, right? Measure 7 and 8, relatando, slow it down a little bit in there, and maybe make it a little bit quieter, just sort of ease into that 7 and 8. And then when you get to 9, it says a tempo, which means go right back to the tempo or this pace you were moving before. I put this at 116. It's probably fine playing it quite a bit slower. I put it at 116 because on the MP3 it took forever to get through it, and I thought it sounds a little bit closer to what I like for my ear at 116. So that might be on the fast side. And then you'll see as you go along, tempo, measure 9, go back, play it lively, play it a little bit faster then. And then when you get to 15, the notes were both relatando and diminuendo, which means slow it down and definitely quiet it down. And so you want to kind of just really for sure ease into that final fermata there at the end with just this contemplative contentment. Okay, let's try it one more time, and then we'll call it a day. 1, 2, 3, 4. pretty good. Should have stopped on the previous one. But yeah, so except for one note that is for sure wrong, it is what's written. I checked the original a million times. There's one note I hate in this song, and the rest of it I can live with. So just give that one a try. Nice little peaceful piece for you to work on this week. And next week we go back to the 16th century. So, we get these 20th century composers, and then we'll compare it to a 16th century composer, and we'll see who's doing it better. That's it, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember, starting next week, this class will move to Wednesday nights, and we will crash all this stuff for a whole week's worth of stuff into Wednesday nights, and then you will have just kind of keep up your schedule where you have a little place every day to play through stuff. I think that probably more than anything that we have learned through the pandemic is sitting down here for an hour a day, 45 minutes a day, and just playing is probably doing more to make us satisfied guitarists than anything else we could have done. And just with the schedule changes and stuff, it's going to be a little bit more challenging for you to do that. We will have the 5 o'clock session, which will encourage guitarists to come participate in, and so we still will have a daily opportunity to play as well as a weekly lesson on that. So that's where we're headed. Obviously, send me emails if you have questions, concerns, if you have things you want to do. There you go. Nancy, good to see you. Thank you for explaining music. Yeah, take my explanations as exactly what they are. I have to look up a lot of stuff. One thing I did learn from my conducting seminars I've been to is when you grab a piece of music and it's got Latin phrases, Italian phrases, sometimes German phrases in there, you really do want to go look them up so that you have an idea of what the composer was thinking there. When I see contentment and mezzo pianissimo, and then he says espressivo, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got some conflicting ideas here of how to handle that. So yeah, I thought that was a helpful thing from conducting. Go through and look at all of the weirdo marks around there that you're not going to just play, that are giving you advice, and really know what those mean. So yeah, thanks, Nancy. Evelyn, good to see you. Enjoy your day out in California. Vic, enjoy your day up in Oregon. You're welcome. And Elizabeth, all of the E people, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Elizabeth, you'll have to let me know how that baritone is playing now that we've made some adjustments to it. And yeah, there we go. Have a wonderful day. I'll see some of you at 4 o'clock for ukulele and some of you at 5 o'clock for harmonica. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Peace.